PeopleSoft, Justifying and Optimizing PeopleSoft 9.2. My name is Harry Mitlitsky. I'm an ERP account executive, and also who will be presenting with us today is Dan Donshik, who is Director of Technology, and also Gary Smith, who's Director of Operations here at Symphony. So with that, I would just like to say that if you have any questions, type your questions in, and we will try to get to them during the webinar to try to make it as interactive as possible. So with that, I'm going to turn this over to Dan Donshik, again, Director of Technology. Dan, yours.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to our webinar. We're going to spend some time today doing an overview of PeopleSoft 9.2. Many of you are either on 8.9, 9.0, 9.1, and you're looking for reasons to move to 9.2. And hopefully what we provide here in our short time together are some of those reasons to justify that upgrade, and then give you some feel for how to optimize 9.2 and what 9.2 can offer you moving forward. So we're going to have an overview, kind of review of PeopleSoft 9.2. Then we're going to talk about why you should care about 9.2 versus staying where you are. Specifically, the new mechanism for updates and fixes, the Update Manager, and we're going to take a look at how that works. And then we're going to talk about making the most of 9.2 and doing the most efficient ways that you can most efficiently transition to 9.2 through a streamlined upgrade process, and we'll go through that, our upgrade methodology, somewhat as part of this presentation. So you have kind of a comprehensive look of why you should go to 9.2, what's in it for you, where the savings are, and then how to get there. So just like Harry said, please, when we've done this in the past, we've waited till the end to answer questions. When I make these presentations at user group meetings, I like them to be more interactive. So we want to try to do that today. I know everybody can't speak, but you can type in the chat window. Please type your questions in. We're going to be watching for that, and Harry's going to interrupt me when a question comes in that's relevant to what we're talking about at the time, to make it more of a more of a conversation, or as much as it can be for this. So the first slide here, we want to talk about what we have in terms of new 9.2 features. Some in HCM, some in FSCM, kind of overall, some overall features. This is where Gary will jump in when we talk about HCM and some of the finance features as well, just to kind of help me out, because I'm a technical guy. But just overall, from a technology perspective, and 9.2 is largely a technology upgrade. Embedded help is much more efficient. There's a new PeopleSoft Online Help application and manager. There's the new PeopleSoft Update Manager, which we'll get further into as we go through this webinar. There are significantly better iPad and mobile features, iScripts that are built into the application that have been written specifically for mobile use, mobile time and expense. Items that hadn't been there. That the capability has been there in 9.1, but it's now built in and written for you in 9.2, and it's easier to deploy. I guess the buzzword these days is mobile, so going to 9.2 helps you in your mobile strategy moving forward, specifically if you're using expense, if we're using time and labor, items like that. And then from an overall look and feel perspective, you have pivot grids and work centers that are now available to you within the application. What a work center is, very simply, is a business process all in one place. So you can define, and a lot of them are delivered for you, but let's say you're an AP manager or an AP entry person. You go to one place, and it steps you through each item that you need to accomplish in entering a voucher or processing a payment, all from one page, as opposed to having to know what the navigation is to move between different pages in that specific business process. And then you have the ability there to define your own work centers based on your own business processes, so it streamlines your workflow or your overall deployment to your users. Pivot grids allow you to do some more analysis with your queries and more visualization. We have a little more detail about that under HCM. Gary, I'll give it to you to talk about HCM for a little bit.
Sure. You talked about pivot grids. They deliver quite a few of them, which just allow you a little bit more than just exporting a CSV file or an Excel file from, which gives you a little bit better. It's under all controlled by security as well, so people can only see what they need to see. Again, there's quite a few delivered, and you can create new ones. The Smart HR extension, really that's if anybody uses the Smart Hire or your template-based hire, they've improved the functionality quite a bit on that. It was somewhat limited before, and it's actually a lot better now. Again, a lot of updates to compensation need performance, which needed a bit of it. There's quite a few other things. For example, I'm not sure your timing, but time and labor will be getting mobile apps. Actually, I think it's in March. That would be another thing. So depending upon when you go live, there's a lot of other updates to time and labor. There is also some reporting, a framework that allows you to push out reports a lot easier to people. Embedded help. There's quite a bit of functionality, but again, it also depends on where you are at with your current version and what bundle you're at. Because again, with Oracle now, all of the functionality is coming out in bundles. For example, the org chart and company directory came out as a new piece of functionality as opposed to just being as part of the new release. So depending upon where you're at, you could see quite a bit. Another thing that I liked is the teams, which allows you to build teams. So I know a lot of organizations in HR have difficulty in that they have a reporting structure, but then they may have teams that they want other managers to see, and that feature I found it to be pretty nice. So those are a few of the highlights of HCM. Again, there's quite a few more, but again, it all depends upon where you're at in your current environment and your current release number.
And then finally, from a financials perspective, and as Gary mentioned, a lot of these features are now available as part of the continuous improvement to the 9.1 product through maintenance packs and bundles and what they're calling feature packs. But there's some of these items that aren't available in 9.1, and you have to go to 9.2. Very specifically, and one of the big justifiers that we've had for some of our clients in terms of enhancements in 9.2 is the method by which credit card authorization is done on the order management in the order management and billing module. In prior versions to 9.2, you were storing credit card numbers on the application and interacting with a third-party provider, a CyberSource or something, through a back-end integration. Now, the application allows for tokenization of credit card transactions, which means that you're never storing credit card information. You're interacting with a third-party provider, and they're handling all the credit card entry and authorization, and they're just sending a token back to the PeopleSoft application. What that means is significant cost savings in terms of fees that you pay to cover credit card transactions. One location has said that just the move to the third-party hosted credit card storage is going to save them close to $20,000 a month in credit card fees. Well, that very quickly justifies an upgrade. In finance, and across the applications, there's significant improvements to approval framework. In prior versions, there have been a combination of workflows still available to you in terms of approvals. There was the old version, and there was the approval framework version. Now it's all in 9.2. It's all moved to the approval framework, and it's easier to administer. Much better Hyperion integration for those of you who are moving into business intelligence and are doing budgeting with Hyperion. The integration is much tighter in 9.2 finance. They've enhanced the functionality of attachments across the application. So now you can do attachments in AP, and you can do them in expenses, and you can do them across the application much more easily than you have in the past. And actually, we've talked to a number of places over the last few weeks that have had attachment requirements where this has become a justification to move to 9.2 to avoid having to do custom coding to handle attachments specifically in the expenses module. And then there's the advent of the new mobile applications, the expenses and approvals, and e-procurement, all available now on mobile browsers through delivered iScripts. So that's pretty much the the overview of the features of the application. One of the things that we like to talk about with 9, it's actually, this came with 8.5.3 tools, actually 8.5.2 tools, was the ability to deploy the portal application as a place for single sign-on for unified navigation between your finance, your HCM, your learning management, all of your PeopleSoft applications. Oracle has now delivered the interaction, what they're calling the Interaction Hub, which is the old portal application, as a free limited license with PeopleTools 8.5.2. Well, you can really take advantage of this unified navigation as part of your upgrade to 9.2 across the application, where if you're running HCM and finance, all of a sudden you can give a single website location for all your users to log in, and then they access the applications behind the scenes through dynamic unified navigation. And if you see from this this screen print, you can see that all of a sudden your ELM becomes a menu item, your HRMS becomes a menu item, and you can navigate throughout the application from just one location. You can create pagelet integration, so your HCM pagelets and your finance pagelets and your ELM pagelets all can be put into one single page, one login page. And then you can create site-wide branding changes if you're familiar with style sheets and are interested in doing some extra design work. You can actually change the entire look and feel of the page and the user experience very easily now with the Interaction Hub, and actually across the application. So this is just yet another benefit of the new upgrade. I want to talk a little bit now about the PeopleSoft Update Manager. So those of you who are out there doing maintenance right now on your app, on your 9.0, your 9.1, your 8.9 application, you're very familiar with maintenance packs and bundles and making sure you're up to date to get a fix from Oracle, and kind of the trials and tribulations of keeping up to date on your patches. Well, Oracle has solved that issue with the new 9.2 release, and something that we consider one of the best new features of the application. Instead of deploying bundles monthly or maintenance packs quarterly, Oracle is providing reference VirtualBox images of fully patched PeopleSoft environments. And if you look at the screen print, this is what a VirtualBox Oracle Linux looks like. It's not much to look at right now. But what's behind this is basically you download Oracle VirtualBox, which is like VMware, and then you download the virtual images of the most recent patched version of the product. Finance, HR, they're separate, but you can put you can put them in separate virtual boxes, and then you run your change assistant to determine which patches you need to apply that are specific to your environment. Which means that if you're running on the finance side, if you're running AP and you're running PO and you're running GL and you're running nothing else, well then there's no need to apply a maintenance pack that includes all of the order management, billing, asset management, and other patches that are irrelevant to your installation and could theoretically break customizations that you may have made or could have problems themselves. Now all you have to do is you run your VirtualBox, you run the change assistant to see what's missing, and you only choose the patches that are relevant to your installation and apply those. What does that mean? That means that your testing efforts around patching are greatly diminished. Your timeline about keeping up to date on the application is greatly diminished. If you hit a bug that's in the most recent, that Oracle says, yeah, it's in the most recent VirtualBox image, it's very easy to apply that patch rather than going back to Oracle and begging for a one-off POC fix. You have the ability to just go and get what you need when you need it. How do you deploy the VirtualBox? This is a little more complicated. You download the image from Oracle support. You have to deploy, if you're not an Oracle environment, this is an Oracle database that's delivered within this Linux image. So you'll deploy an Oracle client on your workstation. It's built into the image. It tells you how you can map to it and deploy it. You map a drive on your workstation that's running Change Assistant to the batch file location that's also within this virtual box. You configure your Change Assistant, and then you run your change package wizard. So let me show you what the change package wizard looks like here. So if you look at these screen prints, what you do is you log in, so you bring up that virtual box image on a workstation, then you log into its PIA. It automatically deploys a PIA. You log into it, and then you run the update manager from within the update manager's PIA, and it knows about your environments because you've configured your change assistant, and it will go in and determine what patches you have and what patches you don't have. The next step from there is once you choose the patches that you want, it will define a custom change package and put it right into Change Assistant, and then you'll deploy the update just as you have in the past. But the key here is that you are only applying what you need, not everything else. So, bottom line on justifying 9.2, this piece alone saves you in maintenance costs and maintenance headache. And if your upgrade's done right, you can enjoy all these features with an overall lower cost of ownership because you're not constantly battling the update struggle to keep yourself current with the application. So let's move on to here. How do you make that smooth transition to 9.2? How do you do the upgrade in the most efficient manner? This is where we kind of talk a little bit about our upgrade methodology using a lab-based solution to facilitate and streamline the upgrade process and make it a lot quicker. So in the past, and even back to doing your 9.1 upgrade, 9.0 or 9.1 upgrades, these got to be longer drawn-out projects because of all the effort required around doing that first pass of the upgrade and making sure your servers were set up properly and making sure that you had all the patches in place and you had everything running. Well, now with 9.2 and our lab-based upgrade, you can do the whole thing in a much compressed timeline. We take a copy of your current environment, your demo environment, and we put it on our already optimized servers. We have a fully patched image of the new demo environment from using the update manager, and we run the first pass of the upgrade. First pass of the upgrade, this is not very different from what you may have been used to in the past. It's just that we're running it a little more quickly. We're still producing compare reports. We're still doing the data conversion steps. If you're coming from 9.1 to 9.2, there isn't a lot of structural change in either finance or HCM. Like we said before, a lot of this is added technology, added features. The work group, the work centers, and the workflow, and a lot of this is additional features. So the effort around changes to structure is minimal, which means that the data conversion is minimal from one to the next. But we still do that process the same way. We run through the first pass. We do the requisite tools upgrade. We create the compare reports. We review the compare reports. In order to facilitate the speed of the upgrade process, if there are conflicts between objects that you have updated or customized and new objects in the application, we're going to take the new objects from Oracle, and then we're going to take a look at those items after the fact to see what needs to be retrofit. Quite often, especially as the application becomes more mature, your customizations that may have been put in to achieve functionality that wasn't there become unnecessary because the functionality is now in the newer version. After we have done that first pass of the upgrade, we provide a development environment through a connected manner, so your user community or your remediation staff or your technical staff, whichever combination, can go ahead and do any customization retrofits that are required, do some additional unit testing, some verification testing, all in preparation for a fit gap analysis with your user community, where we take a look at what customizations may have been overwritten and take a look at the new functionality and decide what's being kept and what's not being kept. We use that to go forward with remediation and functional activities, and then we'll do a first test move pass of the upgrade. What that is this. For those of you who aren't familiar with the process, a test move is just that. It's mimicking what the process would be when you went to cut production, which means there's no compare process involved. It's just a tools copy from the development environment into the new copy of production that you've taken. The end result of this is you've created a system test environment. So we've got a development environment from our first pass. We've got a test environment that's been created from our second pass. That's where our users go in, do some testing, continue to do any remediation or functional configuration that may be required, and do some system testing around that. Actually, that's this slide. Once that piece has been done, we're going to be doing some system testing, some user acceptance testing, and potentially some parallel testing, all in preparation for a third test move that is done on your new servers. So while we've done all this work in the lab environment that you've been connected to, you've had the opportunity on your site to prepare your servers and prepare your environment to bring everything back in-house, to do a final test move to validate the new install and the new servers or new operating systems. And in a lot of worlds right now, we're dealing with virtual machines, so we're just creating new virtual environments. One of the things with PeopleSoft, PeopleTools 8.5.3 and 8.5.4 when it comes out shortly, it requires now, if you're in a Windows environment, you're required to be on 64-bit Windows 2008. If you're in a Linux environment, you're required to be on the most recent version of Linux. All 64-bit now. Everything is 64-bit across the board as of Tools 8.5.2. So you're typically, when we're going live with a new version, you're doing it on new machine images or new hardware. So through this process, we're doing an install on site. We're doing a test move at the client site to validate hardware. Then we're doing a user acceptance test and integration testing with the resultant database of that test move. So now we have a development environment, we have a test environment, and we have a UAT environment. When we're ready with the upgraded environment and it passes through testing, we go ahead and do a move to production, mimicking the steps that we've taken to do each of the subsequent upgrades. This whole timeline can be done in 4 months. And this is just a sample timeline for the upgrade itself. We have done it this quickly quite often. 9.1 to 9.2 especially can be done this quickly, assuming that we have testing resources on the client side available to do the testing, on the project schedule. But it can be done this quickly, which gets you to the point where you're benefiting from 9.2 as quickly as possible without a lot of overhead on your people, on your technical resources, or even on your user community. So it's not the same animal it used to be. It's even better than it was when we did 9.1, and it can be done quickly. So just a couple of caveats here. If you're coming from 8.9, depending on what application you're using, you could be engaging in a double upgrade. The path, I believe Finance has an 8.9 to 9.2 path. HCM does not. But we have a methodology in place to do that double upgrade. So you stop at 9.1 and then move to 9.2. It becomes transparent to you because it still fits in the same upgrade methodology and allows for the same speed of deployment. Keys to success. Gary, I'm going to kind of turn it back over to you from a functional and project management perspective?
Sure. One of the things in our experience in doing these upgrades is it gives you an opportunity to go back through and revisit a lot of the customizations. And even if you're keeping them, a lot of times by just having to do the retrofit, you'll find that they aren't documented properly, and this really gives you a chance to do that. Get your change management, especially with the new SOX rules and et cetera, all in order for migrations. You get a chance to really review all of the new enhancements and determine what's coming forward. It also gives you an opportunity to maybe roll out some new functionality. And what we normally do is we will turn that on in the new upgraded environment. That'll be part of the testing. And so when you go live, that new functionality will be set up. Other options are, some customers are still on the old, for example, security with the trees, and they haven't migrated to the new one. That we make that part of the upgrade. So that's another real advantage that you can do as far as on the functional side. Really clean up your processes, remove customizations, especially where possible, because again, the one thing that you're trying to do is reduce the cost of ownership of PeopleSoft, and with the new ability to update only the changes you want, and then the more customizations you remove, the better and cheaper it will be to maintain that. As far as on the technical side, again, by the fact that we are doing it in the lab, allows you to really do some analysis on your new hardware infrastructure, and also we help you set up. We've done this in the past. We'll help you show you how to handle these the 9.2 change assistant, so that you can plan for those. Again, it's not quite as complex. You don't have to have this huge meetings to go through and determine, okay, when are we going to do it? A lot of customers fall far behind because it takes so long. That's not going to be an issue in the future. As far as project management, the fact that we've done this so many times, and you separate your environments and we're using the lab, we generally will also set up a SharePoint site for the project, manage all the the change management documents and fit gap documents, what have you, will all be managed throughout the project by our team. And we also, again, having a lot of experience doing this, we reduce the risks. And we also, the other thing is we can do the technical piece at a fixed price, which then limits your scope creep, keeps you focused on that. Again, we've been doing this for years and years, so very knowledgeable, and done it many, many times. So again, those are very, very critical to doing an upgrade right. You want to make it as painless as possible for your users and your technical staff, and you also want to make it happen in a timely and cost-efficient manner, which is one of the things that we like to pride ourselves on with our methodology.
And I think just to reiterate, some of the more exciting maintenance features of this release, which really from a technical staff perspective, as well as a user perspective, really makes this a must-do upgrade is that Update Manager product, and the fact that the mechanism to release fixes and then new functionality is going to be much, much easier and faster for you, gives you a lot of reason to move to this release, because when you're on 9.1, yeah, there are a number of these number of the new functionality items that can be integrated into 9.1, but you're still faced with doing large maintenance packs or feature packs updates, which are almost the same as doing an upgrade in the end. In fact, we've found in a couple of cases, the folks that are way behind on their maintenance packs, it is faster for them to do this upgrade and get to 9.2 than it is to address trying to catch up with maintenance packs. So those of you who are far behind, and you know who you are, because it's most of you, which is not a bad thing. It just happens. When you're looking at the effort it's going to take to become current, take a really close look at going to the most recent version, since it will actually probably be less effort and less cost and far more benefit. So, Harry?
Okay, I just want to give you a little bit of background about Symphony. You know, we are a PeopleSoft or Oracle partner. We're both certified in implementations, and we're also an accelerate partner, meaning we do these implementations extremely rapid. To date, we've done over 150 implementations and upgrades, and over the past year, numbering well over 500, okay? We also do a lot of this work in our hosting facility, which, again, takes the burden off of your IT resources. So with that, nobody entered a question during the webinar. We'll just open up to anybody who has a question now. If you can just type it, and I'll read it to Dan. Okay, it looks like we don't have any questions. So with that, we want to thank everybody for their time. And please be on the lookout for additional webinars that we're going to be scheduling in the next few weeks. Thank you. Have a great day.